Righty. Oops, that's the wrong screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the latest episode of the Tensport Tales. If you are not caught up and you would like to get caught up, well, you can head on over to the YouTube channel and watch the previous episodes. But our last episode, after a quick escape from some rooftop archers, we had a run-in with what I can only describe as the Ripper Doc down in the sewer proper. After some risky surgeries and stuff, we did learn quite a bit of information about the history of Mr. Fry, Davin Fry, I believe. Dallin Fry? Dallin sounds right.
Dallin is correct.
And yeah, so we are now off at Work's let's just say impatience towards the town cemetery, as there was a connection to the cemetery that is I'm slightly forgetting right now.
Dallin was originally buried there until he one day revived.
Yes.
Right. Also, for some reason,
We can't see Rich?
Yeah. Okay, I will work on that while we play.
All right.
Yeah, so with Rich's very recent invisibility, the entire crew kind of starts running off, well, strolling off towards the town cemetery here. We're getting, to probably about just past midday here, where everybody just, you guys can see that the hustle and bustle is very much increased. Now, with fewer people kind of running towards work, but now more people who aren't necessarily native to Tensport, kind of walking around, looking at the sites, buying from stores, things of that nature. People who, maybe perhaps have the day off, or other people who might just be here visiting, either on business or for pleasure. You guys are able to kind of navigate the streets relatively easily, because even though there's quite a bit that you guys would know that are down by the docks, as you start moving further and further inland, it really weans itself out, and what you end up with is just you guys walking by more and more local businesses. The one clothing shop on the corner, the other bakery. That's one. Everybody who's just kind of preparing for what is hopefully going to be a very fruitful and lucrative after work rush. As you guys kind of walk along back into Silk Square and start passing through it in order to make it towards the town cemetery, you guys note that there's a lot of hustle and bustle kind of going along inside of the square proper. Silk Square, as you guys would know, is a relatively large district that's just built around one central square where there's one very large water fountain, which is also happens to be where the town forum is generally held, where a lot of town criers tend to enjoy peddling information and trying to hand out their flyers and their newspapers, but also where any general announcement happens to occur. This is right outside of City Hall, where you guys know that council is usually not meeting because, well, do they even work real jobs? They're just elected officials. But there seems to be a relatively large hustle and bustle, as some people seem to be out front of City Hall waiting for what likely is another public forum or another public consultation about probably something mundane like changing zones of a building and trying to install maybe, I don't know, an extra floor or some garbage like that. Honestly, never been that interesting to anybody, but always affects those few residents that are in that area. You guys just kind of brush past it. As you guys can see, there's a few home bodies that seem to be gathered around the front door of City Hall, but you walk right past it, continuing north through until you guys reach an area where the ground itself starts changing from a brick and cobblestone mixture to slightly more gravel path. This is generally a great indication for you guys that you have exited Silk Square and have entered into the more outskirt districts. In this case, you guys kind of walk along a little bit more as the housing gets a little sparser and there's a little more greenery now. A few more lawns, a little bit more grass. You guys can see that there's a few houses out here that aren't quite the, 4 or 5 story monstrosities that seem to dot the city. But instead, maybe it's a 2 story standalone. Some white picket fences, things that slowly would, if you continued maybe directly north, lead you more towards the uptown district.
I hate
Uh,
the suburbs.
it's truly the greatest waste of all things here. But as you guys kind of continue pushing past a little bit now towards a northeastern pathway, um, the occasional carriage passes you by. The occasional person kind of dragging a cart around. But as you guys pass through kind of this what feels like this very suburban zone, eventually it leads to a plot of land that's just down underneath the mountain that's kind of to your left. It's a bit of a drop, but the good thing is that they've installed a path that kind of slopes neatly down, but it still slips up every once in a while, and you guys can see even along the path that there are a few skid marks from wheels that have tried to brake while going downhill here, or struggling horses that have attempted to pull something that maybe they weren't designed to pull. Um, you guys slowly kind of lower yourselves down here until it fully breaks into view, with tree cover breaking up a little bit more. There's a large plot of land just kind of set aside with a large um, perimeter of what looks like a metal gate, some very classic spike designs on the gate as well. Basically a small stoning sorry, a small kind of stone enclosure. Down there, you can see that at the very bottom near that gate, there is a large house looking area from which smoke billows. Also, beside it, a warehouse of some sort. Um, and in that in that plot of land behind it, every once in a while, a small smattering of stone or small mounds where you can see spots and of occasional color. Out in that field, you guys can see there's a few people kind of working it. There's a few people who seem to be, trimming up the sides and like cutting out some vines, but also there's people who seem to be patting things down, cleaning up some of the stonework as well. You guys continue to lower yourselves down this path until you reach that gate area. Gate is open, and as you guys kind of enter it, you guys can see on either side there are two large lantern shapes. None of them lit because obviously you guys are still very much in that middays uh, time period. Um, and stepping in, you guys can see that big house kind of to your left, with large doors open. You guys can see that some of the people turn to kind of just give you guys a nod and otherwise tend to pay you not much mind.
Um, it's the house where the gravekeeper would normally be.
You would know you guys would know that large house is generally the facilities in which they handle any business. Because once again, obviously people people die. It's part of city life here, and so
Death and
um,
taxes, baby.
oh baby, and guess what? You do actually get taxed at the very end of your lifetime here. So there's always somebody there. But yes, that is the house of the gravekeeper. The undertaker also, generally speaking, lives in there, or at least on the grounds as well. Any other caretakers tend to just come in from town in order to work.
All right, let's find the gravekeeper. See if he's got a record of where Dallin was buried.
Hmm. Uh,
I wanna. I have a thing here.
yes.
Uh, that's a good idea there, Rich. Ren, why don't we let the boys talk to the groundskeeper? I want to use your magic sight here. I want to take a look around and before see if there's anything suspicious going on here.
Yeah, let's take a look. I'm going to take a look. I'm gonna get my
Yeah. Is the idea that you guys kind of stay outside of the house, or are
Yeah,
you guys
so
gonna try to walk the grounds a little bit?
yeah, so my thought was Ren and Wark can walk around,
yeah.
and Wark can, in the event that anything weird or strange happens, Wark is there for protection. While Rich and Munt go and talk to the groundskeeper type thing.
Yeah. And what I'm just gonna do is I'm basically just gonna go detect magic, and then as soon as I find sort of an area where there's magic, I'm going to try and like search for any objects or things we could find.
Okay. In which case, I'll let you guys kind of start your makeshift patrol here of the area, um, while I let these other guys get into the house proper. Then, okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Rich and Munt, my furry, fuzzy friends. Uh, you guys make your way towards the gravekeeper's house here, walking up to the main set of double doors here. Give it I assume a quick wrap on the outside.
As we're walking up, I do remark. I hope we can get back to the smog sooner than later. Too much fresh air can actually be bad for you.
You go-
Um, I don't think you get much fresh air down there, anyways, buddy.
Well, yeah, and good for me. But your lungs probably look like bad lungs.
I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah, I guess cancer isn't super big in the knoll population.
Not particularly, no.
Sorry.
Oh,
Well, there's always a silver lining, I guess.
wow.
Well,
Okay.
caught me off guard.
All right. With the kind of talk of death looming near, regarding regarding cancer rates within various populations. Yeah, the main door opens and you guys can see what looks like a small young elf kind of stick her head out, and she goes, hello? Do you have an appointment?"
Uh, no. Do we need one?
Not necessarily. I assume you're here to see the yard master. Um, if you wouldn't mind, I can have you sit in the lobby way for maybe a few minutes. He's just in the middle of a meeting.
Yeah, if that's who we need to see, we're looking for a particular grave and some information on it, and rather than stumble about, we thought we'd come see the records.
Okay. Yes. In which case, let me just quickly let you in here. Come on in. And she kind of, she seems to take the chain off that kind of main door there, and then just open it up. Stepping inside as she closes it behind you here. It's all quite nice. Very, um, it's almost lavish to an extent, but that's also for the peace of mind of many of the people who do need to visit this place. You guys can see that there's a lot of ambient yellow candle light around the house, around this kind of main lobby way that you've entered into.
Mhm.
Everything seems to be a nice deep brown wood accent with some stone in the ground, but for the most part, everything else is kind of done in a nice deep, almost like lavish cabin style wood.
Mhm.
Um, she kind of points at the two chairs off to the side there, where you guys can see that they kind of flank a small table on which there are a few pamphlets. One of them just on top that says "Understanding Death," and helping your loved ones. And she says, he'll probably be about 5-10 minutes. Can I get you any drinks, anything of that nature?
Do you have any like a sewer water or like a sludge?
Um, Not that I can serve you. But I can get you water if you would like to hot or cold.
Pepsi's fine.
Uh, all right. Let me do that. And yourself?
I'm fine, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. He'll be right with you. As she
I,
kind of
r-
scuttles off.
I run over to the book labeled Understanding Death and say, "Wow, to think they would just leave a grimoire laying out here. I can get all kinds of insights into the nature of death."
Yeah,
I don't believe that's a tome of
Yeah,
necromantic
I
arts.
I I sit down and start reading it.
yeah. As you do that, let me jump to the guys outside here. Rin and Work, you guys kind of start off your journey here from just around the main gate, waiting, kind of just letting detect magic come up here, and you're just okay. Do we see any presence of magic? The first thing that you guys get here, um, is that sorry, I need to keep rereading it. Just register the presence of magic, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
The first things you get here are actually at the very gate itself. Those two large lantern
Oh.
devices
Oh no.
both seem to be magical.
All right. I'm gonna go up to them and I'm gonna attempt to see if I can identify them. All right, let's
Hmm.
see. What is the? I think it's literally called
I
identify magic.
I believe that is the case.
don't think I can help you unless
I don't think so, unless it's religious. You might be able to help me if it's religious.
in Pathfinder this definitely falls more under occultism, I believe.
That is generally correct, though it does technically depend. It does depend on the magical tradition of the um
It, it just
what do you
gives
call it?
arcana, nature, occultism, and religion as
Yeah, as the
as the
corresponding skills, yeah. But I would say that this one falls rather
under
squarely
arcana.
under Arcana, actually, yes.
Well, let's go. Okay. That is a 14.
14. Okay. Looking at these lanterns at the very front of the door, the you get the feeling um that they light up at a as magic would come near them.
Oh, okay.
Did they light up when we walked in? You know, the party don't start till we walk in.
The party does not start till you walk in, but I'm trying to remember whether or not we have anything magical on you guys at the moment,
Um,
and I don't
it's
remember.
not.
I'm not gonna lie.
I do, but it's not. It's not present, so I don't think that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily have a magical item on me, but
No, I don't. I do have a magic item. It is currently dismissed. So
though
Yeah,
I am currently not in my beast form, which
does that
I
count
don't
as
know
magical?
if that counts as magical.
Probably not.
uh, but basically, yeah. It seems that it's some sort of detect magic that's just sitting inside of those lanterns.
Okay. I will just tell Work. Yep, just some detect magic on those things, so it'll light up, letting people know when anything magical approaches it. Imagine that's pretty good for any sort of like spirit stuff.
Okay.
Pass through the gate.
But
we might as well.
yeah, what about
Hmm.
let's take a little looky loo around the yard here.
Yep. I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna be like, okay, so we're gonna split this into sort of like four quadratics, and we'll start on this corner, and I'll just sort of move around and see if I can detect anything. We'll maybe put a pin where we find anything. Go from there.
Okay. In which case, I'll kind of go as you guys kind of walk through one of the closer regions of the graveyard here. You do notice every once in a while there is some sort of magic on one of these gravestone markers. Um, do you want me to just kind of note those down, or do you want to just say that you've noted those down?
Um,
I've noticed. I'm looking more so for like
anything out of the ordinary.
yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing. I'll just like note it and be like, that might just be, magical grave
If
or
it's
magical inscription.
yeah, if there's inscriptions on like multiple stones, then that's less
Yeah.
alarming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the moment it seems like it's kind of like a sporadic thing. You see, like the odd stone is lit up, but as you guys have kind of walk through a little bit more, you will notice that it seems like, generally speaking, some of the larger stones
Oh,
tend to have some sort of enchantment upon them, or whatever that may happen to be. Anything that's kind of small and in the ground, nothing crazy like that. As you walk by anything that kind of is its own kind of enclosed plot as well,
mm,
or something where it looks like perhaps there might be a family plot of some sort.
hmm
Those also seem to have enchantments upon them of some sort. But at the moment, there seems to be an ongoing pattern as you go through that first quadrant, and nothing out of the ordinary at the very moment. As you guys kind of are you guys kind of just going up and down the aisles, kind of a thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd imagine so.
Okay. As you guys go about doing so, one of the groundskeepers will kind of come up eventually to the two of you and just, excuse me, is there someone that you're looking to visit?
Yes. We are looking for Mr. Fry.
Oh, Mr. Fry, you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can help you. If feel free to continue to pay your respects to the various to the various
Now,
families and individuals.
I would like to sense motive on this guy. And it's not to see if he's lying, but I
Mhm.
want to know if when we say that, if it looks like he's like, if there's like a, you know,
Noticeable difference from what
yeah,
he's
like a
doing.
trigger or something.
Mm.
Yeah, please do.
Do his eyes go black like the demon guys did?
Ha.
That is a 15 plus perception, I think. 20?
20. Okay, sorry.
30, 20?
30, 20. Yeah, you Hold on. I put in the wrong thing.
I was told I must show compassion. I'm still showing compassion. I'm just don't want to get demoned.
Don't want to get demoned.
No
Yeah.
demoning here.
You can. It seems that they're behaving relatively normally. For a place this big, it's very unlikely that any one person's plot is excruciatingly well known. And this person, even as you look at them and they kind of walk away, you note that they also seem relatively young in comparison to what you know the timeline for Dallin to be.
Okay.
So they seem to pretty genuinely just kind of going back towards the yard keeper's house here to try to get an answer for you guys. But that leaves you to very much continue about this plot on your own.
Now,
Yes.
I feel like we should focus less on the general pop. Like, I feel like he's either in an unmarked grave somewhere or in some kind of larger, like,
Mausoleum.
yeah, or like there's some kind of like down with the usurper type of like plot, like in memoriam to anarchy falling, or you know what I mean? Like,
Okay. Yeah.
I want to focus on those and not just the run of the mill. This is Billy Sue. She died of the common flu. Yeah.
That's fair. Can you? Sorry. As you're kind of thinking, do you mind just making a recall knowledge religion for me?
I sure can. Ooh. Well, that is a 13.
13.
I will say, okay, I pull up recall knowledge here because that's the first time I've actually rolled this. Yes. Now, I do have dubious knowledge. So, when I fail, but not critically fail, a recall knowledge check using any skill that I'm trained in, I learn a bit about or no, just any skill, sorry. I learn a bit of true knowledge and a bit of erroneous knowledge, but I do not have any way to differentiate which is which. So if 13 is not a success but not a critical failure, I do still learn something.
Okay.
Neat.
I forget that this party has just like the random notice stuff things.
I got it literally because of my war mask.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. In which case, as you're kind of thinking about like, okay, look, he's probably not in, as you call it, a general population here. So, I mean, you've thought about you've thought about it. I think that you've heard it in the temples before, but it's always like you try to bury the people kind of in order of their importance to society in some degree, right? You obviously people who have given great service are usually closer, so that people who want to pilgrimage to pay respects will generally be a little closer to them. People um, who have done maybe less or a little bit more of a nobody, unless they paid a little bit more, generally probably a little further from people, and also generally just, especially in the temples, slightly lower on the list of priorities, because once again, like, unfortunately, even the temples need to make a little bit of money on the side. You have heard that they do have kind of mausoleums or crypts that they keep people that might be of um, particular notable or unnotableness. But you've never really had reason to find out where those are. But you would assume that kind of based on your general understanding of, oh, maybe more important here, less important there. It might be just be way back there in the graveyard.
Okay, that fits. I say, Rin, I think we should just try and find some kind of crypt or something. Maybe he was kind of that kind of guy,
That's
and
fair. Yeah.
and I have this suspicious feeling that we are on a job and it has led us to a graveyard, and I feel like a
Yep.
crypt is the correct place to look.
Yep, that's fair.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Case, you guys try to look for some. You do note that near the back, and also like kind of on the sides of this yard now, as you traverse a little further in, there are some smaller, um, building-esque looking things.
Like a
They
mausoleum.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of them, there are some large ones that are very far back, but there also seem to be some like relatively small ones that just look like perhaps it was just a large, like one large tomb for a person or maybe a family of some sort. Kind of hard to tell. Um, but you guys kind of make your way towards, um, what do you say the one at some of the large ones at the back, perhaps, or just some of the small ones a little closer by.
Rin, your call.
I'd probably start with the small ones closer, and we can make our way to the back.
Okay. In which case, um, let me jump to the other two as they sit in the little waiting room here and with that has recently just provided them with a little bit of uh water, I guess. Not the sewage sludge you had hoped for, but
Is there like
she
a flower pot or
tried her
something
best.
nearby?
There is.
Yeah, you just throw some dirt in there, buddy. That'll be good.
It's not a grimoire, but have you seen the price coffins are going for? When they say the third stage of grief is bargaining, I guess they don't mean getting a good deal.
True.
Truly the most haunting part of all of this.
I full on
So
hyena
true.
laugh.
I drink
Uh,
my non-sludgy water begrudgingly.
as you guys do so, in the at the very back of this lobby kind of hall, you guys can see as the door opens up, and a wheelchair rolls out. You guys kind of look over and can kind of hear, a little bit of squeak to the wheel, but otherwise pretty just the occasional yeah, yeah. But it rolls out. Somebody walking out behind them, and you guys can see Roz kind of rolling out of that
Hmm.
room, and then behind her, you guys can see that there's another there's one of the people that is just kind of her secretary, I guess. Honestly, never really talked to them very much, but he seems nice enough, just doesn't really talk much. But who's kind of pushing her out. But then further behind that, there's saying, "Anyway, thank you very much for coming." And you guys can see behind there even a very tall elven figure dressed pretty much to the nines with kind of glasses on, who seems to just kind of wave them out and just kind of wait patiently otherwise. Um, as Roz kind of wheels out of that lobby where she looks at the two of you and goes, "Gentlemen,
Tip my
Boss?
hat to her, boss.
yeah, odd to see you here. I thought that you'd be onto a theft case."
Well,
Uh,
we all die sooner or later.
this coincidentally is part of the case.
Well, I generally don't think I enjoy hearing that a theft has turned into a homicide, but I wish you the best of luck then.
Be happy to give you the details anytime, but we'll continue working on it until we have something actionable.
Fair enough. Just as a note to you, if you are looking for detailed ledger notes, you will require a warrant. Just come to my office if that's the case, all right?
Thank you.
Excellent. Good day to you, gentlemen. As the young lad behind her kind of just gives you guys both a nod and then just kind of wheels Roz out of the lobbyway here. Um, and with that, the taller elf just seems to wait for them to leave and the door to close before saying, "Gentlemen, very nice to meet you. I'm told that you had some inquiries for me."
Yeah, you are
Yes.
not the picture of a gravekeeper I had in my mind. I was looking to speak with someone disheveled and humpbacked and maybe carrying a lantern in tattered black robes and holding a shovel. Do you have anyone like that I can talk to?
Uh, the Undertaker would gladly accept your invitation if you would like. Um,
Yeah, is he around here? Could I talk to him?
I believe the Undertaker's house is out in the field.
Mm.
If you would like, I can lead you to him. I
That's
don't
all right.
believe
I'm
he's
sure
in.
I'll be able to find it. Rich, you
Yeah,
got this
he
stuff
can
here?
find his way. I'll talk to you, sir. Thank
All
you.
right, fair
And
enough.
I scurry away.
All right, you scurry away. In which case, that leaves Rich in the house.
Mhm.
You kind of follow the gentleman into his office, and he closes it behind you for privacy.
Mhm.
Please take a seat.
Thank you.
All right. So, my name is Valorin.
Hmm.
And yours, sir?
Rich, Rich Gold.
Rich Gold. Very nice to meet you. Quite the name.
Well, thank you.
Uh, so how can I help you and your friend?
Well, we work for Zarpov and Zarpov Investigations, and we're in the middle of investigating something, and well, this is rather a sensitive matter. We managed to come across someone who accosted us who should be buried in your cemetery.
Oh,
So we were hoping you could give us details about their place of burial, if at any point it was overturned, anything like that. We're trying to figure out if we're dealing with something reanimated and therefore the body would have been exhumed, or if this is just something wearing his face.
I see. I believe I know who you're speaking of then, seeing as there's only one case of something like that. I assume this is the one they call Dallin.
Dallin Fry, absolutely. Former politician turned anarchist.
So, I can lead you to his place of rest. I can also pull up the records. Those have all since also been turned to the authorities since his first incident, coming back
Uh,
from the dead.
I saw you were
Uh,
in a meeting with someone from Zarpov. She mentioned we might need a warrant. I assume these are considered public record, and that won't be necessary.
those items specifically, yes. Things such as the details of his specific burial, I cannot provide you with, just because those are done to the wishes of family, friends, or the individual and their last will and testimony. Um, but
Certainly.
but obviously the events afterwards have been made public access, and or at least for someone such as Officer Roz, or sorry, former Officer Roz,
Mhm.
she would have also very much known that. Um, so if I were to, would you like to see the record, or would you prefer I just tell you about it?
Um, yeah, all I really need to know is if there was any evidence of something leaving his grave.
Yeah. So what we found during the investigation, alongside the Tensport guard, was that the grave itself was left relatively untouched. It seemed like the dirt may have been disturbed slightly, but at the end of the day, the actual box itself was still shut especially at the um, inside of the crypt that it was kept in. Um, that door was also relatively shut, but some dirt nearby had been disturbed. We found that the casket, after being exhumed, was empty, which was much the shock.
Mm.
Mm.
It's quite possible he. We did witness him turning into an incorporeal smoke-like form, so it's possible he was able to make his way out of the box and up out of the ground without disturbing it very much.
Yeah, this. I believe this was consistent with the investigation the last time around as well. They did say that it seemed that he had found some way to cheat death and to cheat the methods of um, preserving the dead in some way, shape, or form. But honestly, I would hope that that doesn't happen anytime soon again. But so obviously, then you would know that his body is no longer here. His last known place of rest was actually in a lake.
Yes, we learned that as well. We were. We still might. We'd still like to see the gravesite. I do have a magic user with me that may be able to look around, see if there's any sort of enchantment or something upon the grave that caused this to occur, or
Certainly. I can either guide you there, or I'm sure you'd be able to find your way. Um,
certainly,
near
if
the
you
very
provide me with the location, I can find it.
Let me. I can even point you very quickly as he kind of stands up and gestures you out of his office. He opens up the main door that you guys have come through, and kind of points straight down this kind of center path. And so at the very back of the this path here, you'll see a number of mausoleums, but there will also be two. In almost inlaid crypts. You will see doors that lead to that some people have described as almost like a stone cellar at the very back there. Those can open up. Generally, if you see any of the yard's workers, just let them know, and they can open that up for you. And basically, you just have to go down into that area. Make sure you light the torches. Note that the torches will burn out. Uh, it will burn out. So just make sure that you keep them lit so that, for your own safety. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you for your time, Mr. Valeron.
Of course. It's a pleasure to meet you. In the interim, uh, Munt, what are you doing?
I'm looking for the Undertaker's house.
Fair enough. Munt, can you just roll me a perception check?
I sure can. Nat 20.
That's money. All right. Yeah, as you kind of wander out of that house, it's just like, all right, time to find the Hunchback Man. You kind of start walking down that center path, just cruising, scroozing, and perusing. Um, you kind of see off in the distance a little bit. Your friends Work and Rin, who seem to be kind of like making their way towards the back of the yard. Um, but as you gonna walk along this area, you can see that down this center path towards your left here, there seems to be the occasional kind of small stone house, but they're also then kind of interposed in that is one wooden one. And as you look kind of in that direction, because you're like, okay, wooden. You see a little bit of smoke coming out the chimney there. You're like, smoke, light in the window. Okay, it flickers. You look beside you look at kind of what's outside the house, and you can see that there are some like dirty boots and some shovels, some stuff like that, some large bags, some soil, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the one.
That's good stuff.
You kind of speed your way down that way towards the this man's house. Walking up to it, it gets better because like it looks good for the environment that it's in. Obviously, it's still a very nice town cemetery, but you can start seeing the cracks. You can see that there's some bags of soil here. There's some turf that's kind of been left piled up beside it. That every once in a while you can see an odd worm kind of slurping out of. You look at and you can see that there are not only rakes, but there are various degrees of shovels and spades. There's an old kind of lantern-looking stick that seems to be sitting out there that's like all dusty, dirty, and not lit. And as you kind of look at the window as well, you can see that it's like fogged up in there, for some sort of condensation, and it flickers ominously in the light. The door itself seems to be kind of made of what seems like a kind of plain wood, but also just this like weird rough steel handle that seems to be covered in mud.
I'd like to go up to the door and give it a kind of a rhythmic 9 or 10 raps, like a da 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 da.
You just hear, yeah, oh, you hear like lumbering footsteps as somebody just opens up the door, and you can see your man, this this kind of very well built, but well built individual who's got just like he doesn't have the Doc hunch because well, God, if God forbid if anybody had the Doc hunch other than Doc, but he's got that like slight hunch because he's trying to like fit his head into the doorway and just like you can see that he's kind of got like pants half on. He's got this large kind of what looks like a white shirt that's all just like stained and just this monster of a man just kind of looks at you. What? What do you need?
Good day, sir. I trust that you are the proprietor of this fine establishment.
He closes his door, and you just kind of hear as the door just slams in your face.
I knock, but this time much more rapidly.
Door opens one more time, and but just slightly, and you can see that he opens it just enough so that his leg is kind of blocking the door, most of the doorway, and his eyes can kind of see him. He's like, "What do you want?"
I was just wondering if there was any plots that no one visits, that no one would notice if the contents were to go missing. Um, information of that nature. And don't get me wrong, I'm not asking this for nothing. Of course, I'm a bit of a craftsman myself, a little bit renowned, a little bit esteemed. And I know you're a man of tools, you're a man of spades and shovels and
As you're
digging
saying this,
implements.
he, oh, his door just like flies open. You see his large hand grab the shovel that's right by the door and just hold it almost as if it were a small javelin, and just say, "Are you looking to dig up somebody's grave, little rat?"
Well, yes, I assumed that was clear from my intimations. But back to the premise of my arrangement. I'm a bit of a craftsman. I can a bit of a artisan, if you will.
Rat,
And
you need to leave. This is not a graveyard for you.
well, can you recommend one for me?
Not this one. Nobody digs up this yard. Now
Why not?
you're going to either leave or I will have you stay here.
Can you just provide me with an adequate explanation why, particularly this graveyard, no one gets dug up?
Because this is disrespectful to everybody here. And if
To
I
dead
find
people.
as he leans down even further towards you. He looks you. He tries to look you as deeply into the eyes as possible. If I find any plot of land here that is dug up that I have not dug myself to bury someone, know that you will be the first person I come find.
I kind of harump, suit yourself. And as I walk away, I say, "You have an incredibly flammable house, sir. Good day."
This guy puts down his shovel, closes, and just slams his door shut again.
Are you sure you're not playing your old character?
Well, that's just kind of an archetype of person that threatens to burn someone's house down when they don't get their way.
Threatening people with arson is just your character trope.
Sorry, I just happen to play based individuals very often.
Arson is pretty lit, I guess. All right.
But
In which case, Wark and Rin, you guys are kind of making your way towards the towards one of these side buildings very quickly. You guys, you walk past one and you guys can see the writing kind of down the side is just, Blackthorn, and then you kind of, okay, I guess that's probably a last name. You go walk to the next one and you see Alathan. And you're like, okay, these are specific plots for specific people, and Rin's able to note pretty quickly, as even as you guys are walking up to them, that there's a little bit of magic on them as well. But you guys can kind of continue down towards the very end where you guys can then start seeing what you can only describe as larger stone buildings, ones that you could conceivably hold numerous individuals in them, walking, and you guys can see that these kind of line up one at a time, just side by side by side, and then uh, eventually there's like a small break where you guys can see two kind of like lower looking, almost like stone cellars that are built in, and then it starts going building, 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 past that.
Okay.
As you guys walk up to these ones don't seem to have any magical signature on them at the moment.
Um,
Where is Fry?
Um,
Can I make a look? Can I look around? Can I make a thingy?
yeah. What are you looking for?
Honestly, I don't know if Work knows what he's looking for.
Just make a quick perception check for me then, please.
Work knows to come find Fry's plot or grave or whatever. That's a 15.
15. Okay. As you kind of look around this area, you can see that there are a few more kind of intermittent lanterns and kind of just like set up near these buildings. But as you're kind of looking along, you can you're starting to notice a few themes and motifs on these buildings. Some of them are incredibly plain, and just based on your kind of your background, you would know that those are generally reserved for things like the nameless, maybe a stranger who has passed away, that has no family or friends here to speak of. That's probably where they've been laid to. You look a little bit more and you can see ones that have the various some more religious motifs, and you'll understand that these ones probably church members that don't have family plots, or maybe their family didn't want to invest in a place for them to be buried, so they were buried with the kind of with their religious affinity in mind. You kind of continue to walk past those a little bit more. As you walk further past these other kind of more religiously motifed ones, um, you guys both kind of come up to those two large cellar doors, which it seems weird that you would have further burial further beneath the ground, um, but this is where even in your head, you're like, yeah, these are, you know, these are the ones that go even further, that would be need to be put down even deeper.
Mhm.
Sure. And looking even closer at it, you can see that on these two doors, you guys can see that there's the Tensport guard kind of seal on them, um, and which kind of leads you guys to believe that it might be related in some way um, to work that some of the guards may do.
Like, shut down anarchists. All right, I open the doors.
Yeah, you're gonna grab these two doors. Can you just quickly make me a? Can you make me a force open, please?
Is there any question?
Yes.
Is it? Does it look? Would he know? Okay, so work can see this and I can't.
Mhm.
Is this like a crowbar situation or no?
Uh, basically, what it looks like is it looks like there's two large kind of stone slabs that are, that are like that are closed, that are basically closed downwards.
All right, I will use the crowbar.
Okay.
Prying something open takes a -2 item penalty to force open unless you have a crowbar.
Mm-hmm.
A levered crowbar grants you a +1 item bonus. Nice. I'm gonna need it.
Yeah.
That's 5 + 1 + 8, so 14.
All right.
Yeah, I like that. So I threw in the +8 at the end, just you know, to like get you in the first half, you know.
My goodness gracious. Yeah. As you gonna get at it and you get the crowbar in there, it's surprisingly not an enormously heavy stone, and it looks like as you get your crowbar in there, you start wetting it in and start applying a little bit more force. It's really difficult, literally in the first half. As you're kind of prying it open, the weight of the stone is kind of holding it down. But as you kind of get a little bit more of a gap in there, you kind of feel as the pressure itself seems to release a little bit and just kind of slowly ease itself open. You kind of look back there and you can see that there seems to be some sort of mechanism that normally somebody could maybe trigger in order to have that happen more instantaneously, but you've managed to kind of get enough force in there that the mechanism recognized that the door was supposed to be opening and kind of pulled itself open on both sides here.
Cool.
um as you guys kind of start walking down into here, there's just a small set of stairs that leads you down, and underneath here, you guys can see that there are two unlit torches on either side of you. But just peeking in from the kind of the daylight that's streaming into this area, you can see now rows and rows of what look like kind of stone doors that just kind of keep going and going.
Well, do you think you can light these? I mean, I can see down here, okay, but maybe we use some light.
Are you asking if I can light them?
That is what I am asking, yes. Miss Magic Fox Lady, can you please light my torch? That was Work's sarcastic voice. I do no fire, no fire.
I don't seem to have fire.
Um,
Unless you want me to scorch and blast you.
Can Okay.
I don't think prestidigitation can light a small flyer.
I mean, it does in 5th edition, but I don't know if it does in this edition.
I mean, you can cook something, so I imagine you could light a small fire.
I am so confused. It can cook something.
Cool,
Right?
warm, or
It just
flavor. Yeah.
warms it. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
like
Okay.
a
It's
microwave.
like a microwave.
So
Yeah.
here's what I'm gonna do.
Huh.
I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way, I guess. Oh, I'm gonna look to see if there's any kind of match or anything that's nearby.
When you said the old-fashioned way, I thought you were going to say, I rub this torch on another torch.
No, I had a better way, but I'm gonna look around to see if there's anything to light it with.
Yeah, as you kind of look as you kind of look down underneath these torches, you do note that there seems to be pieces of flint underneath.
Okay. I will light it that way. I was originally gonna try to like rub my crowbar against the stone to spark it, but this seems easier.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, I
rub
can-
that crowbar against the stone.
I'm gonna do a little fancier. When I like notice, I'm like, well, I don't have fire, but if I see the flint, I'm gonna electric arc down all the flints and just jump.
I mean, that could work. You could just spark the wood. Though that is enough.
Yeah.
Lightning does cause fire.
Yeah.
Huh.
Can I just electric arc and have this little like fox arc just hit all the little torches? It's a cantrip, so I can.
It is a cantrip. I'm seeing that. You know what? I'm gonna let it go. It doesn't technically light things, but I'm gonna let this one go. Yeah, it's not necessarily an immensely critical.
Yeah.
Choice to be made.
we actually got through the door, and now we're stuck on lighting the torch.
Yeah, as you guys gonna grab the flint and start kind of striking at it and getting the spark. The sparks that you generate. Eventually, you watch as Rin then kind of takes the electric arc and almost like lets it ride a little bit onto the nearby torch. Technically, it targets creatures, but we'll
I
say
was
that
gonna put the torch, hold it down near the flint when she mentions that, so that it would light.
Yeah, so it kind of she kind of jumps the spark, and you guys kind of get as you're kind of striking it, and you get a few sparks out. The spark kind of jumps into through those kind of those additional things, and just carries it onto the torch, and kind of like gives it a head start it needs. The torch kind of roars to life. You guys know that it's gonna stay lit for a little bit, but it will eventually burn itself out.
I'm gonna light the other torch.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have them for at least half hour, an hour. That should be just fine.
I will light as many torches as there are using this torch.
Yeah, you gotta go down the row and you kind of light torches along the way. You go down the row, and eventually you get to a point where like it just seems outrageously far that this goes, but you eventually get to the back wall where there's the kind of last torch. Then you light that one, and you guys kind of look at your handiwork. This long hallway of stone doors here.
Did we notice any that was marked Fry on the way down?
As you guys have walked down this way, most of these seem to be unmarked, and in fact, actually, they seem to be numbered.
Interesting.
How many are there?
Oh boy. Yeah. By the time you get down to the end of the row there, you've noticed that the number has jumped to like 90.
Okay, I know which one I'm starting with, but Rin, you should probably do something more intelligent first.
Well, I was going to see if any of them have any magical things on them.
As you walk down this way, there does not seem to be anything magical.
I will let Work know and be like, no magic here.
Okay.
So
You said they're numbered, right? Is there a difference in like age in when they were numbered?
It looks like this area was made all at the same time, as far as you can tell. Looks like all of the etchings and markings have been very well kept from the elements, and they all seem to be of similar age.
is there anything written on the walls of the doors? Is there just numbers? Is there things that maybe have like words on them?
There are numbers.
Only numbers.
Okay.
I'm gonna look to Work and I'm gonna be like, I wonder if this is just numbers for guards that have fallen as opposed to like people they're trying to stop from.
That is possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Rich, you would have noticed that one of these doors is, as you've kind of walked down the path here. I assume you're heading down that way.
Yep.
Yeah, you would see that as you're walking down that way. One of those are kind of vault slash cellar doors seems to be open.
Oh.
And seems to be emitting light.
I'm gonna look around and see if I can spot one of the gravekeeper, like maintainer people.
Yeah, you'll pretty easily be able to see them, as it looks like one of them is just like kind of at a gravestone, just like brushing excess dirt off the base, fixing up the trim around it so that the grass isn't growing onto it.
I'm gonna see if I can flag him down. Wave to him.
Yeah, they kind of look away and just, can I help you, sir?
Yeah, I'm looking for a grave down in this cellar kind of thing here, for a Dallin Fry.
The open one or the Dallin Fry? I've heard that name before. Give me a second. Let me check my book here, okay?
Thank you.
He kind of goes over, and you can see that he seems to have like what looks like a section map for himself.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see that he's kind of like crossed off certain things. He looks Dallin Fry. That was the. I don't think he's buried here anymore. From whenever I've heard some people talking about him.
He's not, but where his grave was.
Yes. If you go into the door on the left. Oh. I'm gonna hope that's one of our guys in there. But yeah, if you go into that open one there, he should be number 87. As he kind of like flips through a few. Yeah, he should have been number 87. I think they've left that one empty since then.
Appreciate it.
Yep, not a problem, sir.
Is there a torch left for me?
As you kind of walk in there, doesn't seem to need to be. There are torches lit left, right, and center as you walk down and see Work and Rin down there.
I am in the as Rich walks down. Work is in the process of attempting to open door number 69. I would like that to be known.
I knew that was happening.
Yeah, it's. You want to make a force open?
Yes, I do. That is a 25.
Oh boy, yeah, you gotta reef on this and you guys can like as that door opens, the three of you in the vicinity can feel as what seems like dirt kind of just pops out and almost in a puff, the door kind of swings slightly, but it's a very heavy kind of swing. But there seems to it seems that what they do here is they have the door, and then they put a kind of light layer of dirt that's kind of compacted in, and you can see that as you kind of crack that, a little bit of dirt kind of like seeps out. It's on the ground now, but you guys can see behind that there is a box in there. By a box, I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
As that happens, Rich walks in, so we can. Is he in this one? Is this him?
As as you kind of like brush a little bit of the dirt off, you look and you don't. There seems to be like a little bit of an inscription written on there that's just like, that's definitely not Dallin Fry.
Okay.
Wrong one.
Okay.
Um,
Whoops.
Fair enough.
We're looking
Alright.
for number 87.
87.
Yeah, I tried to put the stone back up.
Yeah, you put you put the stone back up. It's actually not difficult, but now that like some of the dirt's displaced, you're kind of like, okay, let me put some of that back there, pack it a little bit, and then you just shove it back into place. It seems to stay pretty well.
How do you know it's 87?
I asked someone.
Huh? Checks out.
Yeah, you guys, I assume you guys walk over to 87. Month, what arson are you getting up to here?
I would never do that. First of all,
He only
secondly,
threatens arson. He doesn't actually do arson.
yeah, it's just a negotiating tactic.
Oh, what a fake.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a poser. I'm
Tease.
going to start walking to the back of the cemetery to
Mhm.
one of the very large crypts because I'm assuming that this guy was kind of a fancy guy. He probably died and was put into a fancy place.
Okay, so one of those large buildings. Are you looking for like any sort of indication on any of these buildings? Because there are quite a few of them.
Whichever one is easiest to get into, probably.
Oh man, yeah, you gotta walk up to one of these doors and just kind of give it a little bit of a wiggle and give it a bit of a wiggle. Can you make a force open check for me just to see which
What is force open? Use strength,
Athletics.
believes
athletics,
it is athletics, yes.
and then -2 because I don't have a crowbar.
Correct.
All right. This is a 9.
That's a 9. Oh. As you kind of walking up to some of these, um, there's a blank one. That one doesn't seem to budge. It doesn't seem like anybody opens it. There's very much go up to some of the other ones. They just don't quite give for you. You eventually make it to it's to another one that's like slightly that seems like it might be slightly better because the door's kind of like not quite flush, so you kind of give it a little but it just doesn't do it for your little how do I put them, rat hands.
No, that's accurate.
Yeah.
Well, they're regular sized rat hands. They're you could say they're little hands, but they're not little rat hands.
It's completely fair.
They're
That is my
contextually
bad.
normal.
Yeah,
Thank you.
my experience with rat knowledge is limited at best.
I forgive you just this once.
But as you kind of like go, eventually you see that there's like a large door that's just kind of opened up, and there's kind of light shining out of it.
Ooh, that's probably where he was buried.
And you kind of look down, and you just see a large line of torches. And you can see Wark reefing on one of these doors at the very back there, and Rich pointing at that one. Rin kind of like kicking a little bit of the dirt to the side that had popped out earlier.
I run down and join them.
In which case, would you like to make another force open for me on this one?
There's one higher than whatever I rolled last time. I think it's a 25. No, 27. 27. Sorry, I mean it's plus. No, sorry, it's plus 1. So 26. Not plus
Okay.
2.
In which case, yeah, you put the crowbar there on the door, and this one doesn't it doesn't take nearly as much, because you kind of feel that even as you it kind of just like it unseals itself, but there isn't as that big dirt puff that kind of comes out. It's gonna unseal it. It just kind of opens, and even there's not really that layer of dirt anymore. It's just that empty kind of stone, the empty stone walls of this little area here. And looking in there, there is a casket that's kind of just right in front of your face, and on the very front of it, you see the words Gallon Fry inscribed.
Hey, we found it.
All right.
Well, guys, we found it. I pulled out.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Is it magical?
Yeah,
I
let's,
will check if there's anything magical in that room that isn't on us, because I can.
Oh yeah, because you can specify.
Yeah.
At the moment, you do seem to detect that there is something magical, but it seems to be a little further than the actual casket itself.
Okay. I'm gonna go further into the room and sort of see if I can get a better sort of range on that.
Yeah, it's past. It seems to be. How do I put
In the
this?
casket, but past the casket.
Yeah.
In the
Or
casket,
in the
but
hole,
past-
but it's past the casket.
Okay. I will maneuver past the casket. If I can. That's a possibility.
It's you try to get yourself as tight and as close as possible to it, and you can kind of feel it now. It seems to be it's like where the casket is it's in a little bit, so maybe like
Mhm.
a foot or two, and the casket itself is probably maybe about 7 feet ish in length, from what you guys have been able to tell from the distance between each tombstone outside. This one seems to be just about kind of in the 10 feet mark, deep into there.
All right.
I assume you're going to use identify magic. Okay, go for it.
Ooh. Of course, hit my water thing. Okay, that is a 17 plus 5. 22.
22. Yeah. It seems like there seems to be a magical effect, um, and at the very end, that seems to be used to detect if this casket moves.
Okay. Guys, don't move the casket.
Or take my hands off the casket.
So there's some sort of magical thing on it that detects if it moves. I'm gonna see if I can. Does it feel, now that I've sort of got a bit of an identify, does it feel like it's on the actual casket, of like it's just cast on the back of the casket, or does it feel like it's past it?
It feels like it's past it.
Okay. And I don't think I could squeeze in there and somehow get behind there to touch it, could I?
No, it is like the space is very much built for a enough space so that you could easily insert, and I guess in this case, exhume a casket.
Hey, Wark, you want to go uncork that door you opened before?
Yeah, sure. I go and I open the
Door 69.
plot 69.
Yeah, you pop that one open this time also with a little less resistance here.
We have the
Okay.
same magic in here, Rin.
All right. I will go and see if that one has anything.
You go over there and you do not detect anything. The magic kind of
Nope.
fades out of your vision as you walk over there, and then as you go over there, it seems very blank.
Nope, just that one.
All right. That means it's not a security measure by the
Nope.
grave by the graveyard and gravekeepers themselves.
No, this seems very much specific to our
All right.
good old friend Fry.
Well, we can get a warrant from Roz, and then we can get access to the files with the details of the burial. We can see if it was the magic was put in there at a request by Dallin or someone else.
Yep, can do.
Other than that, there's nothing else here that matters. I do know that the coffin is empty. We were told that. So there's no need to open it.
What?
Interesting that we're said that it's empty. It might not necessarily
Yeah.
be empty.
Okay, so I guess I gotta get in character here. What if so we can't move the casket? What if I just pry open the bottom of it like I did that carriage? Or like the side, like I just take the side off the casket and we look inside.
Good idea.
I mean,
They could have done a kind of when you have a pressure plate with a goblet on it, and then you have to replace the goblet with an equally heavy rock so it doesn't set off the pressure plate. What if they did that with Dallin's body?
So to which I am going to say, I don't know whether it's the whole casket that can't move or pieces of the casket that can't move. All I know is that casket cannot move.
Can
Don't move the
you
casket.
make the magic stop?
Not yet.
Not yet, meaning like 20
Maybe-
minutes from now?
No, not for a while.
Not yet, meaning I haven't learned that spell yet.
Yeah, that is a spell that is much higher level than my character is, but is one that I wish to.
My
learn
character.
eventually.
The character.
My wife.
My wife.
No, I've never seen that movie.
Okay, so well,
It's funny because Ben's never seen that movie.
work I think is
It's a good
willing to
movie.
try it.
Orc is willing to try it.
Yeah.
I would rather not. I think that we should. It's possible that it could alert Dallin.
Quick, do it,
Yeah.
work before these prudes stop you.
It's 2-on-1 here.
Well, it's 2-on-2 because you already wanted to open it.
Nope, that's not how this works. Wark isn't is a separate individual, is his own man. The thing, yeah,
You're like a golem. We just put prayers in your mouth and you do whatever it says.
exactly.
Well, okay.
I think we just, I don't know. I was hoping that there'd be something in here, but it appears there's not.
I'm just worried that it's either a trap, which is, I mean, fine, but it's more whether it alerts someone, and we don't even know if it alerts Fry or someone else or something else. So
Maybe it'll alert that rude Undertaker.
I mean, the Undertaker seemed fine enough.
Did you meet the Undertaker?
I think I did.
He was asleep in his shed, and he
Alright,
was
no,
very
never mind.
We did
The
not meet the
groundskeeper.
Undertaker.
he was very
Sorry.
uncooperative.
The groundskeeper was lovely.
Well, he might have been fine.
He's the one that told me which one was Dallin's.
Ah, yes. Seems
This
puzzling
other
enough.
guy was a real piece of work.
I'm sure he was.
I'm gonna put
And his
I'm gonna
hut?
put the wall back, or the plate back up.
Very flammable.
Yeah, you throw the plate back up, slam it back into place, and unfortunately, with some plans thwarted here, um,
Hmm.
I
you
don't know if it was
guys.
plans thwarted. It was definitely we didn't set off the trap.
Which probably good, sort of.
Sorry, while following OSHA regulations,
Thank
um,
you.
you guys.
We're all about safety here.
You guys can hear as some individuals seem to walk into the area. You guys can kind of hear the steps um, at the head of this crypt that you guys are in here. As you guys kind of finish kind of closing that door and then kind of looking over that way, you guys can see um, a few individuals. There's three in total here who have kind of walked in,
I
down
stepped to
here.
the front of the group.
Have
You
Dave
step,
Pines.
yeah, you
Are they
step.
groundskeepers?
As you walk over, you guys can see that there's just the three individuals who walk in. All of them seem to be kind of robed individuals. One of them kind of holding what looks like a small sensor-looking thing in front of them, with a little bit of kind of what looks a little bit of a light smoke kind of coming out of it. Um, they look at the four of you and just, good day.
Good day.
A day.
We were paid to pay respects for for an individual here. We didn't mean to interrupt, but we saw that we did see the door was open. But if you wouldn't mind, we'd need to carry out a prayer. But if you're not done, we wouldn't mind waiting outside.
Do they
Oh, there's
guys?
enough room in this place for both of us.
Who am I praying for?
We had a note for as you kind of go into their pocket and grab a piece of paper. One Dallin Fry.
I've got some bad news for you, pal.
Really? Dylan Fry, you say? Who requested it?
I'm not privy to giving that information out.
Well, considering he's under investigation, that
Uh,
might be some important information for you to hand over. I'm going to attempt to charm person.
oh boy.
What dog?
I will make sure I'm within 30 feet of him. He has a will saving throw. We are not currently hostile to them, so they don't take a penalty to this. So I need to. Do I roll or did they roll?
I believe they roll.
They roll.
They should roll against your spell DC or whatever.
Yep. Spell DC is 17.
Are they rolling will or something?
It is
Will.
yeah, it is a will here. They roll a. Sorry, I'm pulling up stats here. Are you're targeting one person, right? Does it only
It's
targets
one creature, unless I do
Oh,
some stuff.
the one
Yeah.
that looks like it's holding the note.
Yes.
The note. Okay. The person who's holding the note. That person goes seems to he goes and okay. And then, sorry, what does it do on here? I'm just reading through the words are honey, and your visage seem bathed in a dreamy haze. Interesting. Where's the effect?
Effect is so if they If they
Friendly.
succeed, they're unaffected. If they fail, they're friendly. If it's a critical failure, they become extraordinarily helpful.
Okay.
And it can't use any hostile actions against me.
Okay. In which case, this person's just. Oh, man. It's... If he's under investigation, it seems odd. He's been dead for a very long time, but I mean, let me see here. They were somebody who I was told by the priest that they had left this, but I mean, if you check with the head priest, um, at the Claw Trail Temple, they might be able to tell you.
Would you mind giving me the note? That would be so helpful.
If you have the note?
Yeah, if I could have the note that you were looking at there.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. As he kind of like walks over and just kind of hands that over to you guys. You kind of take it. You can see that on there it says Dallin Fry Crypt 1. What are you freaking box 87.
87. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that was the one we checked.
For some reason, I thought it was 84.
Oh no.
No.
Say, you might have a hard time praying for the guy though, considering his body hasn't been there for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
That's what I was informed as well. This is it's very much more a symbolic tribute than not.
When you do the prayer, do you have to move the casket?
Do we have to move the casket?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
It
Well-
is enchanted, just so you're aware.
Yes.
Oh. Huh. As he kind of looks at the other guys and they're like, I mean, we were told to move the casket, but it's dangerous. And you can kind of hear the like, you can see the thought process in their faces as they kind of look at each other, as they're all like, I was told to do this. I'm supposed to do this. But what if it's dangerous?
All right, put on your OSHA disguises, boys. Convince them that they don't have to do unsafe work.
So what I was actually gonna say. So, putting over to Rin here. Would you like it if we were to maybe stay around to be able to help just in case there is a trap on it or anything like that? Like we do have a healer, so we can let you do your rites, and we'll just hang back here and sort of make sure everything's okay. For backup.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind, that'd be very helpful. Yeah, if you don't mind though, we do need to we just need to set up, but we can definitely do that.
I have a question.
Mm.
Do these guys have a holy symbol somewhere on their robes or anything? Do I recognize who their god is?
Yeah, can you make me a quick just a quick perception check, please?
24. I had already rolled it, waiting for my moment to speak.
It's fair. In which case, what you would know is that they have a God, where did my thing go? They have what looks like the kind of like a bird style emblem that kind of flashes in and out. You recognize this as a person of the hunt.
Is this an actual god?
They're Cetaphis.
Ah, thank you. I was looking up because it'd be easier this way.
In which case, they kind of gesture for you guys to kind of move off to the side here, and they go up to the door. So one of them has a small, what looks like kind of almost like a small file that again slips in that area and just kind of twists a little bit to kind of pop it open, and then to lower the slab off of there. You see what one of them then has a little
I gotta try to stop them. I know that they're trying to set up for this, but
I'm gonna sort of put my hand on work and say, just wait. To be fair, this may not injure or do anything to them. It might be more of just a signal.
Okay, but I feel as though I can. Okay, you're right.
When you go to
They're doing their job, and we're here to make sure that nothing bad happens to them.
I brace. When
when
you
you
go,
stop him, you hear and I'm screwing the pieces of my gun together behind you.
Okay. In which case, you guys watch as one of them brings out what looks like a small kind of like a bag and then kind of sweeps the dust, the dirt and whatever into the bag, and so as not to get it all over the ground, leaves it kind of right beside the door there. Another person kind of sets up what look like a few tallow candles around the area and kind of light it. They slowly kind of reach into the slot and just slowly pull it out.
I would like to, as they reach in,
Mm-hmm.
I I motion for everybody to get behind me, and I draw with my left hand. I draw a circle, and then I push my hand through it, and my shield forms around my arm, and I just raise it right in front of me just in case.
Okay. In what cases you're gonna brace. You watch as they pull it out and slowly, and ease it out of the slot and just put it down. Nothing at the moment seems to happen. So you kind of lay it down on there. They then start chanting. And you guys can hear as they seem to be doing a short prayer. The incense kind of held and kind of circling over top of this casket, for basically as they're kind of wishing this person well back into the cycle.
I'm gonna. Can I step out of the holy sphere and do a quick detect magic again? Sort of see if they're doing like a magical prayer or if it's just a regular prayer.
Sure. Yeah, you can detect magic on that. As you kind of try to as you just try to gather the nature of it. It seems to be just a religious ritual of some sort. It doesn't even seem to have actually any magic related to it, and
Okay.
even as Wark will kind of attest to, like, this is pretty standard. You want to quote unquote consecrate the area and the casket to essentially, like, it's almost like renewing your vows to some sort of extent, but basically like when you would initially bury anybody, you consecrate the area, you consecrate the thing, and then you move forward with it.
Is there a way for me to now be able to check and see what was behind the casket since it's out now?
You can walk a little closer to where they are to try to get a good look, but you will be kind of impeding on their process here a little bit.
I would like to get as close as I can without impeding. Like I don't want to interrupt them. I just want to see if I can sort of peek and see if it's like an object or if there's like scripture or something written on there to sort of get an idea of what was emanating this magic.
Okay. Yeah. You try to get a you try to get yourself into a position to see in. It's difficult, but it's because they're kind of boxing off the area a little bit. But as you kind of peek into it, you can kind of see that there might have been like some sort of like maybe some sort of it looks like some sort of like a piece of paper or maybe like a small like thin tile looking thing that was back there.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can lift it. Uh, if it's a unintended light object off of the ground
With like your hands.
with prestidigitation,
Oh, okay. Let
and see if
me
I can slowly lift it sort of towards me.
let's take a look. What is your so you're using lifts. Slowly lift a into an option whether there's a light bulk 1 foot off the ground, 10 feet range. Okay.
I'm gonna try and have it. I'm trying to like lightly float it towards me, like boop 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 boop, even if it's very slow.
Okay. Yeah, you slowly kind of float towards you, and you can now kind of see much closer. It almost looks like what you like it's just slightly bigger than the palm of your hand, but it's like a little almost like a square coaster or a square tile looking thing.
And
Um,
then
sorry,
okay,
continue.
nope, keep going.
Yeah, as you get a little closer, you can feel that this is definitely the emanating cause of your previous interaction here. It looks pretty clean, just kind of like a plain white tile. And as you kind of as you look at the front, it seems to be inscribed with the Tensport guard symbol on it.
Okay.
Um, and you just kind of seek that into your hand. And anything else you would like to do while you're
So
swiping that?
I'm going to swipe that. I'm gonna move back into Work's circle, and then whilst they're doing their rituals, I'm gonna see if I can cast Identify on it.
Oh,
Okay.
by the way, it's not a circle. That's just how I summoned my shield.
I'm just gonna step back behind it.
Yeah. I'm just for the viewer's picture, mental image. I have not created a circle around us. I punched through a circle and my shield formed around my arm.
And I'm facing the door looking for people coming in behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So yeah, I'm then gonna actually like attempt to, as an action, identify magic.
Okay. That takes 10.
10 minutes.
Okay. In the interim, as you as you face as one of you face the door, under you bracing for impact, and one of you trying to kind of get their gun ready. Uh, and another one of you that starts detecting magic. Work in Munt, I guess, because you guys are both going to, for the most part, have your eyes trained towards this kind of ritual that's happening. Would be my understanding. Um, you guys start seeing that as these guys kind of continue, and there's a little bit, and they kind of continue to chant, and they move move the incense in a circle. The casket, the top of the casket starts to seem to show small scratch marks on the top.
Like something tried to break in, or something tried
As-
to break out. Because if it was break out, it would be underneath the lid.
The ceiling of the lid or the roof of the lid?
It is the outside of the lid on the casket. And as you guys look a little bit, kind of continue looking as these kind of what look like scratch marks seem to show themselves, as you guys can see the kind of ash coming off of the censer and the incense kind of landing into what looks like those crevices and highlighting it. They seem to be just kind of like they seem to start taking a little bit more shape, and each of these kind of scratches seem to, every once in a while there's a little bit of almost linguistic curve or a very sharp angle to it. Um, from here it it doesn't look like too much, but it looks like it could potentially be writing.
Okay.
Um,
Can I
but
make
sorry, go for it.
a decipher writing check? Oh, it's exploration. It takes me 1 minute, but I don't know how long this is going on.
Yeah. You would know that you probably still have you probably have that minute if you were to attempt to
I'm not
to take a look at it.
okay, so I can only do it on a religion base. I don't know if this
Okay.
if this is occultism. That's not my strong suit.
Do these priest people notice this is happening?
They do, and you can see that they try they try not to pay too much mind to it, but for those of you who are kind of paying attention to that, you guys can see that their eyes kind of like are a little uneasy, but they continue as instructed, I guess.
I have different course of action.
Yeah.
As a
At this
man,
point,
as a man of religion, I run forward and I disrupt their religious act. I go, you need to stop, and I kick over the table and wherever they had set up with all their incense on it.
Okay, as you kind of kick it over, they're very taken aback by this, but they're okay.
I hold up my holy symbol like it's a badge, and I go,
Okay.
we can't have this. This needs to be investigated further before you continue your ritual. I fear that evil doings may be afoot.
are there still markings on the coffin, or did they fade after these guys
Yeah,
finished?
so as those of you who are, because like obviously Rin, you're kind of priorly engaged now, and as Munt, your gun's pretty much ready to go. You guys, the rest of you kind of move in on it. You can see that the ash has very much laid into what seems to be some sort of engraving, but the engraving is done in such a way that is not, um, how do you put it? As nicely deliberate as the Dallin Fry was on the very front. It seems to almost have been scratched on in some sort of, um, in almost in a kind of haphazard way. Looking at it, the way that the ash is kind of set on it, it looks like a collection of letters, but it looks like a collection of letters that doesn't mean anything.
I would like to roll a decipher writing, and I am trained in occultism if that's what this is.
Please do.
That's a 15.
15. Let's see. Decipher writing. You may attempt to decipher a complicated writing or literature on an obscure topic.
Like 1 page per minute, but this is like 1 page, just one big page.
It's effectively less than a page, I suspect, but
Yeah, but less than a page worth of words, but physically.
Yeah. As you look at it, what was that roll again? Sorry.
15.
15. 15. Okay. As you look at it, it is too. It looks like it is just a collection of um 9 letters and 9 distinguishable common letters as well.
Okay.
This is not written in any other language, but it seems like they are not put together in the way that a word might be.
Okay.
You have like random vowels that are too close together to make a coherent sound. You have consonants that are kind of haphazardly kind of thrown together. And it's just like from normally as you wouldn't be able to, as you guys know, from any of you who would have in the past attempted to decipher writing, generally speaking, you can eventually get enough context with enough text there, which is why you get a page of text or whatever. But this very much just looks like somebody threw together 9 letters, pieced together very tightly, and just on the coffin.
Okay. What are the letters?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't written them down yet.
Okay, that's fine.
We know them. You can
We're
tell
at
them
the end
later.
anyways. That's our thing for next time.
Yeah.
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 It's somebody dipped his coffin in the alphabets. Somebody spilled alphagettis on him.
Yeah. No, I honestly, like, Rich will pull out a sheet of paper and do like a rubbing or something so that he has this.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. I was going to throw it up onto the drive, and then I ran out of time basically.
No worries.
Good. We'll start with next week with
9 letters.
9 letters, and the case of the interrupted prayers.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll fight something. Eventually I thought of a really cool way for me to summon my shield in its special form, but I gotta wait for that to matter.
And, I mean, we've been in a few fights, but I think we've only finished one. Most of the other ones we kind of left.
Yeah.
We've been in 2 fights.
We're done with this.
Yeah, turns out fighting in cities either tremendously deadly, or people don't generally like dying.
I figured it was a crypt. Something was gonna happen. You're in a crypt in a tabletop RPG. There was a 75% chance that something was gonna happen.
There has to be skeletons.
Yeah. Well, there are. They're just not animated.
The end must be nigh.
I was really expecting them to be
Crazy cultists.
Well, yeah. Or I was thinking in gun in the gun fu movies where they're like priests and then they just flip open their robes and they just pull out scimitars or something, and I was like, this is what it's gonna be, little baby, here we go. And it's like, no, they're just here to pray.
My character is kind of a John Woo style character.
Yeah, John Woo, there he goes.
Ooh.
John Woo. The instant you said, I watched a video about the Wu-Tang Clan and how absolutely bizarre they were before they became famous. Because it's just a bunch of guys who have really nothing to do with a culture that they very much suddenly took a bunch of names from.
Yeah.
And how everybody who interacted with them was like, who are these guys?
All right. So next week, we investigate the 9 letters. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, I would really appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Also, if you're watching this on Twitch, you're a Twitch Prime member, you do get a free subscription every month to your favorite channel. If you want to support the Tensport Tales, we would greatly appreciate it. But until next week, have a good one, guys. Peace.
And leave a coupon. Goodbye. Good night, everyone.
I probably should have mentioned I'm in California next Thursday.
Oh.
Yeah.
For fun, right?
Sort of. It's for a case competition for business case.
We're gonna end it.
Fun, right?